Doom, doom, doom.
Tales of
The Fourfold Path.
brought to you by
Dungeons.
and Dragons.
Doom, doom.
Bring on the boars.
A pack of wild boars. This one is going to do something called a dash action. When somebody dashes, you can do this too. You're foregoing attacking or doing anything else, but you're able to double your movement. So you're just basically focusing on booking it.
So they're booking it.
This one wants to charge up and attack you, but it can't get to you in time to attack you this turn. It's choosing instead to continue running at you and close the distance all the way up here against Elwiz.
Okay. So it's right there in front of Elwiz, but it's not attacking.
Can't attack because it used its action to dash. That's the end of that boar's turn.
Interesting. Okay.
Crazy enough, you hear more sounds of another boar. Now this one coming from way far off in the distance, and this one's also pretty far away, but it starts to charge at you guys. So
Okay.
it's going to do the same thing. It wants to close the distance, and it can only get so far.
I'm going to have to summon my years of personally fighting off boars to really deal with the situation.
Where'd you
This is
learn those
getting-
skills?
Well, at the YMCA.
That boar was only able to close that much distance, even though it dashed.
Okay. So
Okay,
it's pretty
that's
far
the
away
end.
still.
It's still pretty far away. That's the end of its turn.
Are there any
now,
more?
Are there?
I don't know.
There are not.
Okay.
It is now Pal's turn.
Pal's turn.
Now let's look at Pal's character sheet.
It's getting kind of boring up in here. Did you like that little segue as I was Pal? So she sang a little tune.
In character, she's singing that out loud. I love it.
Yes, she did. It seems the boar immediately next to her would be the most prudent thing to deal with. And the boar is within melee distance, assuming, within 5 feet.
The boar stayed within melee range or within 5 feet of you.
Okay,
so yes,
that's all I need to know.
You don't have
Okay.
to move. You're turning around to attack.
So Pal is on her horse, pulls out her battle axe with both hands.
Question, you had your shield out. It's not bad, and you can very well do this and still have a decent armor class, but the shield is adding to your armor class, I think 1 or 2 points. By setting it aside or putting it down or throwing it back and donning and doffing the shield and grabbing your battle axe.
One hand for the battle
You can
axe,
use
one hand
one
for the
hand.
shield.
A battle axe, if you are to attack with one hand, it's 1d8. But if you attack with both hands, it's 1d10. So you could, in a sense, do a little more damage, almost 2 more points of damage, if you max rolled with a 2-handed attack with your battle axe.
Okay.
Do you want to keep your shield out and attack with your battle axe with one hand?
On top of the horse, striking down would be more advantageous than getting off the horse and being at ground level.
You're not that far up on top of it to gain any kind of advantage from attacking from a horse.
I'm going to click the top. Sorry, I'm going to click the +5.
Correct.
Oh, it almost got the B.
You're right. Very close. You rolled a 14, but you do have a +5 bonus. You rolled a 19.
Nice.
And a 19 against the boar's armor class hits.
Okay.
So now go ahead and roll your one-handed damage dice, which is the 1d8 +3. And you're right, it is slashing damage.
I got a 10.
That is another excellent roll. Look at that.
Slash.
So 10 points of slashing damage. You bring your axe down and you slice through kind of its haunch or one of the haunches.
Or his
and
booty.
It's, that too. Peeling and hanging off of its rear. Gray, red blood kind of gushes out from the wound.
This is getting pretty gory. It already was, but
Oh, it can get... Yeah.
it's injured.
Before we move on to if you want to do any movement or not or anything else with the character, I do want to add one more thing. Playing the game of D&D and doing things like attacking and kind of positioning and stuff, you can add some flair to how you do it. So for example, in this case, yes, mechanically, you rolled, you hit, you did some damage. You can add some flair. You wheel around and you bring your horse to bear. And as you do so, you slide your battle axe off of its strap and you strike downwards.
Wow.
It makes it more interesting and fun for me as the DM. There are occasions where I'm doing it for the monsters.
Okay,
but
I
you
got
can
you.
also do that for the characters.
How about this? So after the boar does its attack and repostures itself, I see it circling the horse to get an advantage to jump me. I pull out my battle axe and I swing it around, taunting it. I wait for the right moment. I move my shield out just to the side slightly and go full down as it runs past and I hit its butt.
Exactly. Perfect. The more you get into the immersion of it, picturing yourself riding on the horse, twirling around and adrenaline.
It makes a difference. It makes a huge difference.
A ton.
Because then it's not just like rolling dice and resulting actions happen. It's about why you're doing what you're doing and with a thought behind it.
And in some cases, the heroism too.
And the showmanship.
the intent of why a character is doing what it's doing. Is it trying to one up another character? Is it trying to look heroic? Sometimes there's bravado, sometimes there's cowardice, sometimes there's, literal fear. There are certain creatures that make you scared. That type of a scenario could be just as fun.
Right now, all 3 characters are feeling pretty ballsy and confident.
They're fresh from the kinds of trainings and schools, and they're out in the countryside looking to prove themselves. And here they are faced with their first encounter as a group. How are they faring? They're faring great so far.
Okay, cool. That was fun.
Emphasis on the so far. No, just kidding.
So far. Wah, wah, wah. Pal successfully deterred one of the boars.
Would you want Pal to move the horse?
Yes. Now that she dealt with that one, she's going to get closer to Elwes and Casernia so that she can participate in whatever's going to happen next.
If you do move away from that boar is not dead.
Oh.
You damaged it pretty badly, but it's not dead. If you move away, you're giving that boar the ability to use its reaction to have an attack of opportunity on you.
Okay, so never mind. I'm going to stay where I'm at, moving the horse, kind of rotating so that the boar is constantly trying to move its hiney.
It completes that round because everybody in that turn is gone. Everybody that round is gone. And we're now at the beginning of round 2, back to Elwes. Elwes has a boar right next to it. So what does Elwes want to do?
I think it's time for... It's short sword with Elwes. Oh, so close to a... Okay, well, that's still a good roll.
Yeah, 13. 13 hits.
Elwes moves his hand in a gesture to head fake the boar, because of course the boar's going to think he's casting a spell because the boars are so intelligent. They're like, he's about to cast a spell. And then he whips out his short sword. He does the whoop-a-doo and does the whoosh.
Or stabs with the short sword. With that 13, that is a hit. Let's go ahead and have you roll...
The piercing damage.
Exactly. So short swords do piercing. Right? 'Cause you're looking for...
No, 6.
Wow, you have your amazing rolls. This is fantastic. 6 plus 2 is 8 points of damage against that boar.
I'm shish kebabbing the boar at this point.
This one kind of digs deeply into its shoulder. You're able to stab down into it almost like a good 3 or 4 inches.
Wow.
And it squeals.
You squealing little boar. I got the boar good, real good.
Now with that action, the only other thing you can do...
Can I stomp it with my horse?
You cannot do that. So this is just a simple riding horse. This is not a horse you've trained to be able to do that. You'd have to train it. I'm not limiting because that's kind of a cool concept that oftentimes doesn't come cheap.
So right now, Elwes could move. So Elwes just positions himself similarly to like what Pal is doing. If Elwes can tire out the boar a little bit, maybe that'll help it be weaker and weaker.
So that's it for Elwes' turn. That brings us to Casernia.
Casernia again. Okay, so Casernia sees what's going on with Elwes and Pal, and that other boar is pretty far away. Based on the amount of injuries these boars both have, is it worth dealing with that third boar or trying to assist either Pal or Elwes? And it seems like they've got things under control. So even though that boar's kind of far away, Casernia is going to get on the horse and go to here. Close the distance, and that way the boar is sort of focused on her, and she now knows that she can deal with this boar while they deal with their boars. Casernia is going to now try an Eldritch Blast. Can I do that?
So you can. We talked earlier about using your first level spell, the Witch Bolt, and you only have a limited number of spell slots, reserves or mana, energy, mystical energy, for you to be able to cast leveled spells. And in this case, you've used up your leveled spell.
So I can't use it right now.
That's Witch Bolt, or a leveled spell like a first level, second level, third level. And we'll talk about the concept of how many spell slots certain leveled spells take when you cast them. You have a finite amount before you have to rest. In the case of Eldritch Blast, or spells that are called cantrips, cantrips do not actually require spell slots. You're able to cast them anytime.
Yeah, so I was weighing that between trying to get super close and doing a melee attack. So the fact that this is a spell that can be used again and doesn't deplete reserves.
Yeah, Eldritch Blast.
Why not? Let's give it a roll.
What is it with you and these amazing rolls? I love it.
Let's keep it going.
A 17 plus your bonus modifier is a 22, and a 22 does hit.
The blast on this one is like this. Ryuk! Like a
Hadouken. The damage for a Eldritch Blast, you'll see that the description of this one's called force damage. It works with the way you described it. It's like hurtling a mode of energy that impacts it and causes like this blunt damage.
Yeah, it's kind of like an explosion.
Oh, yeah. As it was charging forward, it was still kind of at top speed even when it finished its turn.
Yeah.
Hitting it digs into the ground a little bit in front of it, almost like slamming on the brakes into the dirt.
The question is whether or not it actually got hurt or did it just stop it in its tracks.
Oh, no, it did damage. You heard muscle and bone crack a little bit when you hit it.
Okay, nice. One of these boars is going to be a tasty meal eventually.
Casernia does still have some movement left if you want to use it. You only move like, what, 35 feet? You
I would say
25 more feet of movement on the horse if you want. Yeah.
She's feeling pretty confident. In order for her to make sure this boar doesn't get past, she wants to be right up on top of it so that she can deal with whatever she needs to. It looks pretty evenly matched across the board, each player and their boar, assuming there aren't more boars coming. But we'll see. But yeah, Casernia is done with her turn.
That brings us to boar C,
here we go.
which is the one next to Elwiz.
I can see why people get addicted because of the whole situation that's happening and unfolding.
What is this boar going to do? As it looks up, you damaged it pretty badly before. It looks infuriated.
Is
It's
somebody
very
really mad at me?
This spittle and snot just snorting out of its nose. It just kind of
Oh my
huffs at you
God.
and wants to attack you. It seems to be able to have more ferocity in its attack.
Oh.
It ups its potential to be able to hit you.
To make
in this
contact.
case. To make
How
contact.
much damage
It's-
is secondary.
It's
I got
infuriated and it wants to. It's really
It's focused.
focused and pissed off at you. It's going to try to attack you. It's going to try to snag you with its tusks.
Was this boar sent by Mina?
That's right. You see a copper piece. It has a copper piece for an eye. It rolled
what did it roll?
because
What did it
it's so upset at you. It actually was able to hit you with 17
Oh,
plus its
no.
bonus of 3. So I get to roll the damage against you now.
Oh, I
It
don't
was
get to
able
roll
to
it.
snag you with one of its tusks,
Owie.
kind of along your shin, right above your calf, and it's able to gore into it. It does 6 points of damage as it slices into your calf muscle. Before it kind of moves its head away, you see a chunk of your skin. You almost swear you could see some bone.
That's going to leave a mark. And it hurts quite a bit.
It just did 6 points of damage against your hit points. In the box next to your current hit points, you can type in the number 6 and you can hit the damage button. It'll automatically apply and calculate how many hit points are removed and how many you have left.
I was acting out Elwa's being in pain and needing help for the folks at home.
For the folks at home and for Pal and maybe not Casernia. Maybe he doesn't want Casernia to see.
Casernia's just going to see what happens because he wants to see how badass Elwiz really is.
So that's it for this boar's turn. It does angle itself around to this edge, lines up its back against the bush, digs its front legs down to the ground looking up at you. And it has a taste for blood, has a taste for your blood, and it likes it. Next up is the boar next to Pal.
Oh my
And
God.
similarly, it is infuriated at the attack that Pal landed on earlier. It's going to go ahead and try to bite up at your hip. And here we go.
I kind of feel like I should have just tried to sing to lull them to sleep instead of trying to kill them. But, hindsight.
Hindsight.
So bring it on.
Between its two rolls, it rolled an 18.
What
And I believe that Pal's armor class is 18, so a
Yes.
match or better it hits. It was able to sneak past your armor and shield and was able to kind of land one of its tusks up between the chainmail plates on your leg and slice in right up underneath your calf. Actually, your thigh. It does
Ooh, that hurts. Feels
4
like pain.
points piercing damage right up at the bottom of your thigh.
This is not
So go
going
ahead.
how I was envisioning.
Go to Pal's character sheet, and similarly, you would mark the 4 points damage.
I'm down to 8.
This boar is going to angle around to this side now.
Man, these boars are going to infuriate us.
The boar next to Casernia is not as upset at Casernia as the others had become. Dumbstruck at having been attacked the way it was, seeing Casernia right up in front of it.
hurt me now, are you, little boar?
Little boar. But it's still intent on being able to try to attack you.
Okay.
So it's going to kind of rear up, snort, and try to attack you.
And while that's happening, I can hear the rustling of the wind and the leaves of the trees and the brush. And there's an
you can?
ominous feeling. Yeah, in my head.
This boar rolled a 10. So what is Casernia's armor class?
Okay, 12.
Oh, okay. Casernia is able to dodge the attack. That's it for that boar's turn. It's going to stay put.
Wow, that was intense.
It is. That It is now Pal's turn.
What a roller coaster. I had great rolls, so I was like, wow, my characters are kicking ass. And then it was like, oh, the boars are now kicking their ass. But I guess that's how it goes. So now literally maybe 30 seconds have passed.
It's escaping me, but there is a rule that actually defines how much time is passing, like in seconds, during a turn and during a round. It's very quick. Movement after movement and everything's kind of happening. In some cases, it's very focused.
They come across this first one, gets frozen by Elwiz. It gets blown apart by Casernia. A little bit of relief, celebration almost. And out of the blue, these other two come. Another one comes. So like, yeah, 3 coming so quickly. The sense of relief was gone. And then the boars took their turn and took a chunk out of Elwiz and a little bit out of Pal. Pal is hurt. Now Pal is calmly pissed. She just wants to beat the crap out of this boar now. I'm just going to do an unarmed strike.
You rolled a 10. Never mind, that was the previous roll.
I think I just did a 13.
A 13 hits. And the way unarmed strike works, it's a set amount of damage. You don't actually roll dice. You'll see that it automatically does 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
There we go. I didn't even notice bludgeoning.
You literally did shove your fist down into its, right above its snout, punched it.
Yeah.
You hear a little bit of a bone crack. It's occipital bone.
Yeah. That felt good.
That boar with 4 points of damage, you actually killed it. So you did so much damage, you did crush its face in. Chunks of skull bone, eyeball, and stuff. As you pull your fist back out of it, you see like this gore dripping out of off your fingers and hands and your knuckles. I am going to mark it with a black circle, which is my indicator that it is dead.
Yes.
And I am going to remove it from the turn order so that I do not have to track it
Okay,
anymore.
2 down, hopefully only 2 to go. Pal, feeling pretty good about the situation, decides Elwiz may need help next time, so Pal is going to move closer to Elwiz.
And you want to get into melee range with that boar.
Oh yeah, because it's going to have to choose between Pal and Elwiz. It gets to attack 1. It can't do 2 attacks.
Certain adversaries can have more than 1 attack. You have not seen the boar have that ability.
So Elwiz is going to do something. Let's do a stabby again. Let's do a short sword. So I'm just going to stab it. I'm going back in, but this time with extra love. With love. And this time twisting.
Oh, even better. A short sword to hit. 7 plus 4 is 11. That hits.
Okay, now I'm going to do the damage.
Total of 5 points of damage against Boar C. As you come down with the short sword, you're able to anticipate where it was going and attack a little further ahead, and you were able to kind of snag it right as it got to that point, and you're twisting the sword into it. It started to ease back into your sword almost a little bit because it got turned towards you as you snagged it, and it almost pulled you down off the horse, but you're able to twist up and away. As you do, it turns over on itself and lands on the ground dead.
I love it. I love it. A sword tackle.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to describe. You literally caused it to fall over ahead of you.
Cool. So that one's Gonzo too. This is actually pretty darn good. No new boars yet, but we'll see. Both Elwiz and Pal want to move closer to Casernia now to see what's up, because Casernia apparently is the only one who hasn't been injured.
So you wheel the horse around.
I clean off the sword, put it back, and I gallop over. My adrenaline's going because even though I was hurt, I killed it. Yeah, okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, definitely. All right, cool. So that's the end of Elwiz's turn. That brings us to Casernia's turn.
Okay, so Casernia is unfazed, uninjured. She sees Elwiz is coming. A, she wants to show how awesome she is. And B, well, they killed theirs. I got to deal with mine. I'm going to do a dagger. I see the little runt there, and I kind of feel a little sorry for it because it's so lame and it can't even get at me. But it's time for me to end its pitiful life. Pull out my little dagger, look it in the eye, give it a knowing nod, and then do my best to give it an end it deserves.
Oh, wow. A 15 plus 3, 18. That is a hit.
Okay.
Nice.
So now I'm going to see if I can pierce it all the way through to its cold, soon-to-be dead heart.
Think of this. A dagger, pretty nasty-looking knife. It's not as menacing as a battle axe. Appropriately enough, it doesn't do as much damage. Like a battle axe's ability to do 1d8, a dagger does 1d4. And a D4 dice.
You know, I see it.
this
It's a
is-
pyramid.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of old school. Out of a D4, you rolled a 2, but you did get to add your +1 bonus. So you did a total of 3 piercing damage. You'll start to get a sense of which attacks might fit different circumstances.
She just wanted to get hands on.
Part of its flavor, part of its flair, part of its effect, part of its tactics. And that's the variety and the cool thing about D&D. All the different things that are happening in a pretty short amount of time that each character has to make a decision.
So did she pierce it?
She did pierce it, enough damage to really piss it off.
Oh, God. So now she gets her chance to be stabbed or gouged.
Funny enough, it is the boar's turn. You'd think it would turn tail and run, but it is so... You're not quite sure. Is it because it's pissed or is it because it just looks like something's off with it? Either way, it's attacking. 2 different dice. It gets to choose the better of the 2. Because it's become so enraged into this bloodied fury, it has a special ability that allows it to, when it's in this state, have advantage on its attack rolls. And advantage means it gets to roll 2 d20 and pick the better one. And you'll have certain occasions where you might have advantage and you would also be able to do the same thing. It's choosing 16 plus 3 is 19. That's a hit.
Hey.
And here comes its damage. Yeah, these are good rolls.
So Casernia is getting hers.
Casernia got totally. Seeing Elwiz run up and seeing that Pal had already defeated the other boar and basically all of its boar friends are dead, it decides that it got enough of a good chunk of Casernia with a mouthful and decides it's going to
Where did it get her?
It was able to jump up and bite right on the upper part of her thigh in the front, like on her right thigh.
Dang.
And it actually was able to gouge a good chunk of like flesh. You see it kind of chewing on it and chomping on it. And as it does, it's like, "Argh."
That's exactly where she had her Bloodfire tiny tattoo. He ate it.
He ate her Bloodfire tattoo. It will turn and run.
We get an
Gonna
opportunity
give
attack.
Casernia an attack of opportunity with a dagger.
Doom, 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 doom.